Okay, so I kind of have to whisper a bit today because I am at a friend's house and I waited way too late to record the video and the walls are a little bit thin. So I'm trying to not wake people up as I'm recording this here. Did not get to work today as much as I was hoping to. The main thing we adjusted was a little bit on the kick here. We tightened it up a little bit. I sent it to a producer friend, got some thoughts from them. They were like, I feel like the kick and the bass could work together in a few ways. There was a few notes they had. The first one was maybe make the kick a little bit tighter. The second one was on the bass, some of our Midi notes. They were like, some of your notes are really resonant. They're like kind of jumping out. And then when I went and I was listening to it, I was like, oh, you're right. The notes are jumping more out. And so I went and adjusted the Midi to be all more in a suitable range. This section of Midi for the first drop here was a lot more wide than the second drop. Those notes were like much higher in velocity, and so and they were not consistent in velocity, so I adjusted all of those. This topper over here in the second drop, this is kind of I don't know what this instrument is, this sound here. The second loop of that in the original sample is just like got a very different timing than the first one, and it bugged me every time I listened to it. Like takes its time like swelling up, and I think at a slower tempo that sounds fine, but here I really wanted it to be like dun 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 boom ba-doom 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 dun dun dun, and like do it exactly again the second time. So I just took the first time that I liked, looped it, and then duplicated it here. Air conditioning's kicking on, that might help mask my voice a little bit here. Maybe it'll make it hard for you guys to hear. I don't know what'll happen. And then I spent the rest of the time today messing with the limiters, trying to figure out how to get the quiet section here to be good and loud, but also to not have all the volumes push us up into an area where the limiter is just getting slammed. Right now the limiter is doing some pretty serious gain reduction at 0 decibels of increase. All it is doing is just pushing down the tops, and like that's so much reduction that you will start to feel it. I'm gonna ask some other producer friends to see if I can get some advice on what to do here, but like this section over here though, it's doing almost nothing, and I like the way it sounds in the DAW, but the moment you render it, you can hear the clipping happening, and if you put the limiter on it, you can hear the limiting happening. And I want to be able to have a track where it is loud in the loud sections and it's a little bit quieter in the quiet sections, but also where the quiet sections are louder without being like, why are the vocals so prominent? You know, there's just so much less going on here, so of course the lefts are lower here. I don't know how to solve that problem. I don't know what to do when there's less going on and then we go into a section where there's a lot more going on. I mean, I could just have less happen over here. That definitely makes it simpler, but I really like the way this sounds. I want every one of those parts to be there. So do I need to carve more space for things? That would help. But right now, just drums and bass, I feel like over here are like, those alone are doing 3 decibels of gain. And I like the mix. I like how everything relates to itself to it. So then do I just pull the whole thing down? But then this section is so quiet in comparison. So then I need like upward compression or something to bring those things up. But I'm not putting upward compression on the master chain. Should I don't know. For those of y'all who were around during Boss Fight, there was like a whole like 10 episode saga of us wrestling with those tracks in the way that like some parts were quiet and some parts were loud. And if I made the loud parts not peak, then the quiet parts were too quiet. And if I made the quiet parts where they were nice and loud, the loud parts peaked. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. So anyways, that's all we had time for today. Continue to figure it out. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.